Hello you fans, Matt Durant here and welcome to another deck profile. This week it's Infernoids. This is a TCG only version. It will be using the OCG support Decatron, Tierra and Void Dream. So it will be not as powerful, but it will be still a worthwhile deck to use. And it's worthwhile investing because OCG does see some play with the Infernoids. Not as much as Cloudblade, for example. But it is a very powerful deck and very different to most decks that you would go against. Should mention for the first bit, they're all inherent summonings, so you cannot chain to the banishment of Vanity's Emptiness. That does not work. And they all have different amounts of banishment for Infernoid monsters. Their boss monsters, Lilith and Anonsu, require 3 Infernoids from hand or graveyard. There is some controversy over the ruling, if it can use both or just one or the other. Some judges saying that it is possible to use both at the same time, because polymerization you do the same, because that's an or ruling as well, or wording as well. And then some people saying no, you can't, because it just says or. So you have to check with your judge on the day. But yeah, Anonsu and Lilith require 3 banishments. Atondel to Piete, which is not in this deck, require 2. And Astaroth to Satan requires 1. Or Pyramus, as it's now called. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that one. All the other ones from level 8 to level 1 will have the effect of D&D Crow, basically, to target one monster, tribute one monster, and then target one card in your opponent's graveyard and banish it. This is a quick effect, as stated on Antra, so all of them are quick effects. Only the level 4 to level 1 can be used during your opponent's turn, and level 8 to level 5 can be used either player's turn. So you have different variances there. Onto this, I've got 2 Anonsus in this deck. I love it because it blows up the field when it comes out. And during either player's turn where a spell or trap is activated, you can tribute one monster, negate the activation, then you banish it, which is very bad against Shaddolls, because Shaddolls need their fusion spells in their graveyard to re-add them, recycle their resources. If you're getting rid of their resources, they can't really play that well. So you've got that option, and it doesn't destroy, by the way. So when it comes to this one, it's a bit more potent, because if a monster effect is activated on a card that is not able to be destroyed by a card effect, it does not destroy it. This just banishes it. Not like a bottomless trap ball versus Elshad or Winder. That doesn't work. Whereas if, say, a Winder did actually have effects that would activate on the field, you can use this to negate it. I believe it can also negate ones in the graveyard as well, because it doesn't look like it says just on the field. So yeah, this also is the heavy storm of the deck, blows up the back row, unless they're void cards. They have to be face up void cards, they can't be face down void cards, so that does not work. That will still blow them up. So yeah, I'm using 2 Anonsu over 2 Lilith because I like the spell and trap protection. Whereas Lilith, I'd probably put 1 in my side deck to switch in if Tellers come out, or something that's more reliant on monster effects. Then 2 boss monsters of the deck until we get Tierra, and then there will be definitely, you need to have 1 of each in the deck as priority, because you need them for Tierra when it comes out. So this is a deck worthwhile investing in, because it does seem some play in the OCG, not as much as Cloudblade, but it's still a potent, powerful deck. Next, onto 2 Atondel. I think 3 is a bit cloggy. The base effect you'll be using is when it destroys an opposed monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, it can attack again. It has to activate to attack again. So you can change stuff to that, I think, maybe. Probably a Forbidden Chalice or something like that, because it activates the damage step, I believe. Yeah, it would activate the damage step. So this attacks twice and makes instant OTK play, well, makes OTK very viable
with Atomdale, but I didn't want to use him at 3 because it's just a bit cloggy. I don't want to go into OTKs all the time. I feel like if I keep my opponent unawares of what I'm going to go for, it will be more surprising when I defeat them with my Infernoids. Next, triple Sistemas. I love Sistemas. This is my favourite Infernoid because when it attacks an opponent's monster, you can banish one card in the field. So say you're attacking a Marshmallow, even if it doesn't destroy by battle, depending on if its effects are negated or not, it will still banish a card, so you can still get rid of problem cards if they go to that regain their effects, like El Shaddai Construct, Dante, or Trishula, because you can banish it and stuff like that. So you can get rid of their board easily with Sistemas. That's why I really got 3. I adore him, plus he's level 7, and some of the best exceeds in the game are rank 7. Well, they're getting better and better, because we got Big Eye and Dragonzak, which are the main 2, and Flare Metal Dragon in the OCG. So yeah, I love this card, and 2600 is just amazing. I'm also using 1 Belagor. I was toying with the fact of using 2, but I think it's a bit lackluster. Piete, I wouldn't bother using any of them. Just makes your opponent discard a card. That's it. This one has a really neat effect. When it declares an attack, this is before the attack, so you can, if you negate it, I think if you stop it, there's something that happens. I don't know. When it declares an attack, your opponent has to banish 1 card from their extra deck. You don't get to choose, they have to choose, unfortunately. But that means they're losing their resources more and more. And if you keep grinding down their extra deck, they may accidentally banish one of the cards they're going to need later on in the duel. And they'll be like, oh my god. So Belagor is a cool card like that. He's level 6, but he's still a bit lackluster in comparison to Sistemas. Alright, on to the level 4. As I said, Piete is the level 5, and I'm not using him at all. He's a bit useless. Astaroth is our back row destroyer. You can target 1 spell trap on the field and destroy it. It can't attack until it activates its effects. He's 1800 beta, and he's quite good in that sense. So you can instantly get your Pearl, Castel, Exciton, Leviathan Chain, any of those 4, they can be easily got with Astaroth. I mean, Petria, or whatever he's called. Yeah, I'm using him at 3 because I don't run any MSTs. Although I'd say put some MSTs in your side deck, because Vanity's Emptiness executes this deck. It doesn't just kill it, it executes it. There's no way back from it. So yeah, Vanity ends this deck. So you probably may want to take out one of your Astaroths for an MST and then put some other MSTs in your side deck when you're going against a person who's going to be focusing on Vanity and stuff like that. Next is the first non-Infernoid monster, and one of my only 4 monsters that are reasoning targets. I'm using 2 Raiden, Handle Lights 1. During your main phase, you can send top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard, and then if any of them lights 1, highly unlikely, unless it mills another Raiden, will gain 200 attack. And during each of your end phases, discard top 2 cards of your deck to the grave. Mill top 2 cards of your deck to the grave. So this gives you extra milling that you will need in the deck. I should warn you, you can deck out turn 1. If you somehow draw into 2 of your monsters, then 2 reasonings and stuff like that, you could end up having your bottom card of your deck as a card trigger or something like that. That has happened to me before. It was so funny, but you have to be careful. If you think you've not got what you need in your deck at the amount, and you're too low to that would cause real serious crisis, I would not go for milling. And Raiden is also a tuner, so it's good until Decatron comes out, because that manipulates its own level, whereas Raiden is just going to be level 4. It also helps you go for Exciton and Castel, etc, etc. Next, Heraldic, one of the hyped cards of the deck. Always, well, definitely hyped. This card I'm only using at 2. I don't think 3 is going to be that effective. It just targets one monster on the field, destroys it, and then has the same effect where it can't attack. And during the turn it uses that effect. So it's alright, but it's not the best. You can see better. Although Heraldic is Ultra, so that's why he's hyped. I wouldn't suggest 3, to be honest. It's good enough at 2. So Heraldic right there, it only has 16 Ultra attack as well, and it allows me to go into a level 7 play with Raiden, or a rank 3 play with Card Trooper. Card Trooper, I'm using 2 of these because that's the limit. Sorry about that. But yeah, choose a number between 1 and 3, and then send top cards to your decks to the graveyard. Then it gains 5 attack for each of those, so it goes into 1900 beta. But its milling is a cost effect, so if you chain a breakthrough skill to it, it's only going to lose its attack increase. You still got those cards milled, which is amazing. And when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, draw 1 card. So if they're going to Regeki, you contribute all of your monsters that you have and just leave the Card Trooper, so you're going to gain a draw from it. So you'll still gain pluses there, and if it's destroyed through a non-suit effect, another plus. He's level 3, so he goes into rank 3 plays, and that's pretty much it. He's just an amazing card to use in the deck. Next is triple Antra. I love Antra as well. Bounces any face-up card your opponent controls and returns it to the hand. I'm using it at 3. 3 could be cloggy, but I just love this card. I love using it, and it always allows instant exit allows you to go into OTK plays because it's bouncing your opponent's monsters. Well, I love the set. So Antra, I'm thinking, is good at 3, and with 2000 defense, it's a decent wall. On to the last one, which is our level 1, Satan, or Pure Mace in the TCG. It's the weakest of all of the Infernoids because it's level 1, 0 attack, 0 defense, but it's a really good card, a bit underrated. You can tag 1 set card on the field and shuffle into deck. That target cannot be activated in response to that effect, so it's Night Beam in that sense. These all have effects that are based on other cards in the game right now. So Night Beam. This is a bit like Compulse, Soul Taker, I guess, MST. I really don't know what card I could mimic. Zaborg the Mega Monarch, I'll say. That's just a management, and then BLS, then Heavy Storm and Dark Hole. That's just basically it. But Satan is a good card. I'd say use 2 of them. 1 of them you wouldn't get out enough, and 3 of them clogs it up. So 2 is the right amount to have for Satan. Flash, Pure Mace. Okay, onto the spells. We have 13 spells. Triple Reasoning, because Reasoning is amazing in this deck. You can declare a monster. Your opponent declares a monster level. Then pick up the amount of cards until you find a monster that's normal summonable. No Infernoid is normal summonable except from Decatron. So all of these will be milled until you find Raiden or a Card Trooper. So that's your opponent's going to pick up on that eventually. That you're only going for the only choices really are level 4 or level 3, unless they can't be arsed and they'll say level 12, which a lot of people have done before. So yeah, all the picked up cards are sent to the graveyard. It should be changed to Excavate actually, but yeah. And then you special summon the monster if it was not the right level. If it was the right level, it just goes to the graveyard with the rest of them. If it wasn't, that is special summon, so you can go into an instant Card Trooper to mill an extra 3 cards. This is where you can deck out. If you have like your targets at the bottom of your deck, you're going to mill most of it, and it's just not going to be good. But it is an amazing card nonetheless, and I really do advise using 3 of them. Another option is Monster Gate. Tribute 1 monster on your side of the field and pick up cards. So you find normal summonable monster, special summon it, and then send any other cards picked up to the graveyard. Basically the same effect, except they can't stop the special summoning, like they can in Reasoning. So it's good, but it's only at 1, unfortunately. So take it with a pinch of salt. I was using it until I've put in a little bit more Light Sworn engine, only 4 cards for it, because anymore I think it would be a bit cloggy and just give me too many targets for reasoning. The perfect amount of targets is about 3-4, because if you have too many, you're gonna keep picking up them. If you have too little, you're just gonna deck out. Next is double charge the Light Brigade to search out Raiden. Be really bad if the top 3 cards of your deck sent to the graveyard are 2 Raidens. It could happen, statistically it could happen, but it hasn't happened to me yet. It's an instant mill and adds a tuner. You don't know so much in this deck, so these are going to go instant. And it's at 2, so make advantage of it. Next is triple Void Seer, the first of the Void cards. Void Seer is basically infestation pandemic for evil swarms. For Infernoids, you can target 1 Infernoid monster you control. It is unaffected by your opponent's card effects this turn, which is amazing. Very much protection against those spells, traps, or monster effects that are going to hurt your cards. And it has a secondary effect. When in the graveyard, if it will be destroyed by a card effect, if an Infernoid monster will be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this to stop one of those monsters being destroyed. You can chain them all together so you can save your whole field. But this is still an amazing card. So if it gets milled, it's still fine. It'll still have its protection ability, so you can make use of it that way. Next is Book of Moon. I seriously advise using Book of Moon. I put Book of Moon in over Regeki. Regeki is amazing, but I don't think I needed that much in this deck. Book of Moon is better because you can set one of your Infernoids and then it stops their limit ability, which is, well, restriction. Which is if you have more monsters, more effect monsters that are level 8 or higher, more than level 8. So level 9, if you have a total of level 9, so you have Belagor and an Astaroth, that's 10. You cannot summon any more Infernos until you get rid of one of those cards. So yeah, that is a bit of an annoying issue with the deck. That it limits the amount of monsters you can summon, so you can't go into instant OTK like that. But with Void Dream, all of them become level 1, so it does have protection right there. Not a lot of protection. He just go into his next OTKs right there. So you have the power to switch those levels down. Maybe leveling it could be a possibility for the deck. I haven't yet to try it, but I don't think it's going to be that more important than a card Trooper or a Raiden at this point. So Book of Moon, you can set one of your powerful, high-leveled Infernoids, and then bring out some weaker ones and flip it back up, and you've got an instant OTK there. Next we have Frozen Void, a card that's not seen that much play, but with Void Dream coming out, we should practice with it as much as we can. You can discard 1 card to add 1 Void spell trap from your deck to your hand, except from Null Void or Frozen Void. So it does, well, Null Void is not an actual Void card for the deck. You can actually add Void Trap All, but I've yet to find a real application for it really. And you cannot normal or special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except for Infernoids, so it has a restriction there. And if a Infernoid monster you control battles on an opponent's monster, after damage calculation, you can send this face-up card from the field to the graveyard, banish both of those battling monsters, which is basically DDD Warrior Lady, which is pretty powerful. And as you can see in the artwork, it's Lilith and Construct being beaten up by an ice, and then fusing together to make another Nautilus. So yeah, it's got awesome artwork too. And we should just start using this before we suddenly get Void Dreaming like, oh my god, I need to search it out. So this gives searching out for the Void spells and trap shit you got. So you can search out Void Seer, your Void Expansion, Eye of the Void, or Rising Void. So next is Void Expansion, the field spell. A very good card. During each of your standby phases, you can special summon an Infernoid token. This is classed as an Infernoid monster. and then you can banish monsters you control instead of using both monsters in your graveyard or hand. It's in your graveyard. You can use it in combination. So this is where a bit of the aura ruling comes into, a bit of controversy, because, well, it actually specifies, unlike the other one, and your opponent cannot target lower Infernoids for attacks or card effects as long as you control a higher level Infernoid. Say you have an Atondel and a Satan. You can't target Satan with card effects or attacks, you'd have to target the Atondel. So it has a bit of protection, but I hardly ever use that effect. Well, it's a continuous effect, but hardly ever need it. I rather use the banish tokens to summon out bigger monsters, or use them as fodder for my Ononsu or Lilith. Next, we have Eye of the Void, an underrated card. It's amazing. It is really, really amazing. Special summon one Inferno monster from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions, but its effects are negated until the end of this turn. You're probably wondering why I don't use a wild monster appears. That's because it shuffles it back into the deck. It may gain its effect, but it shuffles it back into the deck. This goes into an instant monster. Say you have too many Infernoids on the field that make your levels too high, which are, say, Systemass and an Atondel. You can't summon any more Infernoids. If you use Iron the Void, you can bring out something like Ononsu and Lilith, and that will really fuck things up for them. They negate their effects until the end of this turn, so they can't use their blow up effects. If you use it with these, they'll have their effect later. So it's still good. I still think it's perfect to use it too. 3 maybe a bit clunky. And 2 Rising Void. When people first saw this, they thought, oh, it's useless. But it isn't. It is really actually good. You can only have it if you have Infernoid monsters on your field. So if you have a step monster in your field, this kills it. If you have a Raiden or your Card Trooper or a Synchro Exceed, this will kill Rising Void, like Burning Abyss. During each of your opponent's standby phases, you can target one Inferno monster in your graveyard and add to your hand, which can mean, because you can't summon these 4 monsters from the graveyard. These bigger ones, they can summon from the graveyard. The smaller ones cannot. They cannot be summoned from the graveyard. So adding them back to your hand allows them to be reused. And during each of your standby phase, you can target one of your banished Inferno monsters to return to the graveyard, which is burial from a different dimension, just a third of its power. But this is continuous. That could be continually used and abused so much. So you can resupply your graveyard with what you need to banish to bring out your boss monsters. So yeah, that's the main deck. For the extra, I'm using 1 Star Eater because it's level 11. It's the best level 11. It's the only level 11 synchro monster I know of. Mainly I'm using 1 of each level just to give variance to whatever Raiden is partnered with, whether it be Satan or Systemass. Atondel wouldn't work because there's no generic level 12 that can be used through 2 normal monsters. And the other 2 are too high, but Raiden is perfect to go with those. So at level 11, Star Eater to bring out with Systemass and Raiden. Leo, Keeper of the Sacred Tree, one of the best synchro level 10 monsters, can't be targeted by opponent's card effects until less main phase 2. This goes well with Belagor, but it's probably not going to come out that much because Belagor is only at 1 in this deck. Then Crimson Blader, because Crimson Blader is great to stop Shadows and Clifford, which are very potent monsters, potent decks, and also stop Necros as well. Because when this destroys the opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, your opponent cannot normal or special summon level 5 monsters during their turn, until their next turn. No, during their next turn. I'm getting tongue-tied today. This will be with Astaroth and Raiden. And you can go with partner with your Atondel to go into an Exceed. Next, level 7. I've gone for Yazi, Wickedness of the Yangtze. Another option is Scrap Archfiend, because that has no effect. Therefore, it's not tallied in the total levels because they have to be effect monsters. If they're not effect monsters, they're not tallied in the tally. So it gives you room for big monsters to go for. So Scrap Archery is an option, but I'm going for Yazzie right now because it can't be targeted by opponent's card effects. That's basically it. It has a pseudo Scrap Dragon effect, which can pop itself and destroy a card in the opponent's side of the field. So it does have that effect, but I'll just be using it as a massive beta. For my level 6, I'm using Nofung Starlight, which is basically Gangar Cowboy, because I don't want to run Gangar Cowboy. I'd rather run Nofung. This is a level 6, so it would be required with Raiden and Antra. So bringing it out that way would be easy. If instant inflicting of 800 damage to your opponent, then target one face-up opponent monster and lose 800 attack and defense. The other effect is not used in this deck and it's generic, so very, very good card. The other option I'd say would be Go Your Guardian. Next is the level 5 I'm using, Arminius. The other option was Catasta, but Arminius screws over Shadol, so better to use him. Okay, on to Exceeds. Again, I'm using more or less one of each level that has two of in the same deck, except for the level 1s and level 2s because it's a bit lackluster. So go for the rank 3s. I'm using one number 49 Fortune Tune to resupply my deck with card troopers, and Mech-equipped Engineer to protect my boss monsters if there's monsters to get over it, say, because that's 3,000 attack. Say if they got a Leo Keeper at the Sacred Tree, that protects it. And then you should hopefully be able to come back next turn with something. Next for level 4s, Lavarbar Chain to send Infernoids from your deck to the graveyard, Exiton to blow up the field, Castel to bounce back monsters, amazing card, that's getting reprinted as Ultimate in Astral Pack 7, and Gemini Pearl as it doesn't have an effect, therefore it doesn't tally into the total. And then I'm using 2 level 7s, Big Eye because it takes control of your opponent's monster, and Dragon Sack because it pops cards on your opponent's field. And finally Felgrand, which you can use with 2 Atildels or Atildel and a Crimson Blader. And Felgrand has protection abilities, so it's amazing. For the side deck, these 3 were just to talk about. I would suggest one or two of these monsters, or even just a copy of each, as sub outs for your Raiden and card trooper, depending on what you're going against. So Grandma is quite generic, bouncing back monsters, and you don't use your normal sword much, so you can keep something out. You can use that against anything, to be honest. That's just a more generic one. Next is Thunder King Ryo, which is basically a special summonable mistake. And during either player's turn, when you opponent special summon a monster, you can negate it and then destroy it. I think that's only for inherent summoning, so there is a possibility for that, but he's only at 1. Next is Jinzo. If you're going against a trap heavy deck like Volcanics or something like that, or Clifford, this stops all their trap cards dead, and that's just amazing because Jinzo doesn't see that much play nowadays. So they won't be expecting it. If you're switching out, like summoning out a Jinzo or using any of these 3, they won't expect it because they would think Raiden, Card Trooper are the ones he's using in his deck. Whereas Jinzo, they wouldn't expect that. Instantly destroying their trap cards. Well, negating their trap cards. Next is my 2 level 7 I'm using. I could use Mechanical Hound. You're probably thinking, Mechanical Hound, what the fuck? No one's playing with this. But you can easily get rid of your hand, and your opponent cannot activate spell cards, which it fucks over Necros and Shadol, because they need their spell cards to destroy it and summon out their big boss monsters. How are they going to Trishula you when you have a Mechanical Hound? And you can't get over it with ally, not Catasta, Decisive Armor plus the Dance Princess. That does not get over it, whereas something like Spellcaster can get over that. Whereas Mechanical Hound has 2800 attack points, a powerful beater, and your opponent can activate Spell Trap, so you can't Regeki it. And you can't MST something on your field as well. The other option is Arsenal Christia. Special summonable again, reusable because you can put it back on the top of your deck. Well, that's actually a forced effect. But neither player can special summon monsters, so if you know your opponent needs special summoning to survive in the duel, Christia is a great option for your side deck. completely stops them. You shush you down, but if you've got Chris out, they can't get over that. But you won there. And when they do, you can bring out your Infernoids and just overwhelm them for game. So yeah, that was my deck profile. This is my TCG deck using, well, not as much as my Shenanigans, but it sees quite a lot. Vanity, Emptiness, and comboing with Macrocosmos or Darklaw does execute the deck. It just, there's no way back. But Infernoids are very powerful, unexpected, and very fun to play, especially with reasoning. They are very, very fun. So yeah, also breakthrough skill, because you can mill it and then you still get its effect as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. Please leave your comments below, say if what should be put in the deck, if there's any deck suggestions, etc, etc, or any decks you would like to see me play. I should be playing this during the week if the Salvation server gets fixed for me. So yeah, as for other deck profiles, I'll be doing 2 more. One for Civil Pot of Taboos and one for Magic Spectre as it's come out on the server. But it's only when it's fixed, so I can't unfortunately do any duels today for this. But trust me, this does work quite well. It's decent enough. It's not tier 1 like Necros, but it's definitely a contender. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this deck profile. Please like and subscribe if you did enjoy it, and if you want to see more content. And Matt the Rat, signing out.